Yo, what's up? My name's Patrouski, and one of the most common questions I see during my live streams and on my video comments is, whatever happened to PokeForce? And for those who don't know, PokeForce is an upcoming Pokemon MMO meant to take elements from games like Pokemon, Stardew Valley, and RuneScape and be much more forward-thinking with their development process, alongside communicating everything along the way and planning for weekly or more common updates compared to more traditional current Pokemon MMOs. PokeForce is still just going strong in development, so if you're here for that, there you go. But they have been very vocal about their entire development process over in their Discord, as they promised. They've been telling all the nitty-gritty details. So normally when people ask, what's up with PokeForce, I just tell them, go check out their Discord. They have these things called development diaries where you can go ahead and read what they're doing. But I forgot to mention two things. Thing number one, gamers are lazy. Thing number two is that I am also gamers. Now don't worry, I'm not just slandering all of us for no reason. Hear me out, there is a point. I've got to ask, have any of you watching the video tried to read the PokeForce dev diary? It's incredibly long and incredibly technical, which is a beautiful thing. It's something I wish we saw from more developers, but today I wanted to take a crack at maybe simplifying it for some individuals like myself who aren't exactly up to speed with certain terms. Because I'll be so honest, when they say things like they had to refactor the entire battle orchestration layer, I get a little lost. So welcome to my PokeForce update TLDR. And no, I am not sponsored by them. For some reason, whenever you make a video showing genuine excitement for something new and upcoming, people assume you're sponsored. Nope, I just like Pokemon MMOs. I know, that can be a shocking concept for some to comprehend. Also, before I jump into things, a quick reminder that the PokeForce developers are just a small ragtag group of passionate individuals trying to make a competing Pokemon MMO. Critique and feedback to help make the game better is extremely welcomed, encouraged, and even needed. But just shitting on someone for trying to chase their dreams and create something is not welcome in my comment section. But on to the news, and there's 7 major things that I have to break down. Number 1, PokeForce has been building a battle engine from scratch. They are calling it the Rust Battle Engine, and this will allow them more flexibility for the kinds of updates they want to push in the future. I'm assuming, they are not saying these things, but I'm assuming this includes things like raids, world bosses, or more traditional MMO fighting, battles. PokeForce does seem to like to be super future thinking when it comes to this sort of things, and they really want to explore what a modern Pokemon MMO can do. They specifically mention Aurora Veil and Sticky Webs in this post, hinting at future generation field setting abilities being planned for the game. If you want to read this post in full, once again, it is over in their Discord, which hopefully should be linked in the description. It's going to talk a lot more about that orchestration layer that we touched on earlier. But I think this post is a perfect post that just highlights how difficult it is to make a Pokemon MMO. So many people think you just drag and drop, and that's not how it works. These visuals on screen now is what their current battle engine looks like. Not visually, don't worry, this is not how the graphics of the game actually work, but just mechanically. When it comes to coding and developing a video game, they have to test how things actually function. Pokemon has an incredibly complex battle system with moves like Reflect, where you set up a different sort of stat boost for a temporary period of turns. You have Stealth Rocks, or, setting abilities that affect and deal damage when people come in. You have all the abilities to interact with, like Rough Skin and Levitate, you can see on screen now. There's just a ton of things to calculate. I can't imagine what it's like to code something like this. But I really, really respect this clarity and transparency from the PokeForce devs, which is something that they've displayed throughout their whole entire process. Next up, the second thing we have to cover is somewhat of a continuation of the battle engine post, but they talk about the process of making their trainers smarter with better AI so they aren't just randomly selecting moves like in the Pokemon games that we grew up playing. They also talk about what are essentially difficulty tiers of trainer and how their AI will become smarter and smarter depending on what trainer they are. So for example, youngsters that you beat up on the playground for their lunch money will have focus more on just damage moves and just very simplistic battle styles, and they will never try to set up or throw off statuses against your Pokemon. And then you have your average trainers, your experts, your outliers, and then eventually the Elite Four, which will obviously have the smartest AI and most likely use serious synergies you must play around. From my understanding, I don't think that PokeForce is aiming to be a hyper difficult Pokemon game, but just a more challenging piece of content than the drooling we were able to do while playing those games growing up. Now, a lot of these starting things are very technical and developer coded, but we will get to the more exciting stuff like quest lines and getting a little bit of a teaser towards those here in a quick sec. So bear with me. This is, once again, the positives and negatives of the dev diary of PokeForce being so detailed, as we do get a lot of this, you know, very technical, very, I think, dry, respectfully stuff that a lot of, you know, the average player doesn't super care about, but as a hardcore Pokemon MMO player, I love this stuff. But item number 3 on our docket, they mention creating and refining the editors of the content behind the scenes. And I'm just going to read what they say for this because I do think it's quite succinct. They say that in recent months, we've shifted our focus towards strengthening the tools that power content creation behind the scenes. While players will never directly interact with these editors, they form the backbone of how encounters, NPCs, trainers, and quests are built. By refining and expanding these systems, we're laying the groundwork for faster development in the future, higher consistency, and far more creative flexibility as the project continues to grow. And they even show physical examples of all of these editors, like the encounter editor, which will affect wild Pokemon rates and more, the NPC editor, which helps them create NPCs, sprites quicker, and just change dialogue options on a whim, as well as the NPC editor. Excuse me, this is the trainer editor. So there's the NPC editor as well as the trainer editor. And from my understanding, the trainer editor allows them to adjust and rebalance the trainer parties of their Pokemon quicker. So you do need 2 different things for that, apparently. They also mention NPC linking as a term here. I don't know if this just refers to double battles or something else. And then finally, what is probably the most interesting editor of all of them is the quest editor, allowing them to add item rewards, Pokeyen, and XP as quest rewards. And if you don't remember, in PokeForce, you have a trainer level alongside your individual Pokemon stats and XP, which that will add a huge new element of progression and unlocks. Also, it'll be a nice flat way to vaguely judge someone's progress in the game. If someone is trainer level 500 and you're level 20, you know, they may be doing different activities than you and just boosting that, but to some extent, it's going to show that they've grinded the game a fair bit more than you. I truly feel like the trainer level mechanic is going to be one of the biggest distinctions between PokeForce and other Pokemon MMOs, and they could do a lot with it, expand on it a ton, and like forever have progress indicators. Like every year that the max cap level is level 100, and then it goes to 200, and then 300, and you unlock like new boosts or new rewards every single year throughout that. A good example, this is not them saying this, is just Patrouski, I guess, guesstimate. This Patrouski theory crafting, they could do something where if you do enough quests, you get XP and get yourself to trainer level 100, and then you get like a 5% shiny boost for the rest of your time or something like that. Or even you could unlock other areas in the game you didn't previously have access to. You could unlock better training methods. You could do so much with the trainer level progression. But moving on from the editors over to item number 4 to talk about, we actually do get some teasers towards some upcoming quest lines. And this is absolutely huge. And in my opinion, maybe the coolest part of the entire dev diary. A huge shout out to Vizariel or Jack for writing this section. He's always been super involved in the Pokemon MMO community and is earnestly trying to learn what makes the players tick, as well as how to make the best Pokemon MMO. Jack also outlines a few of his inspirations to give them proper credit, but I want to really just brush through his 3 main ideas. First things first, he covers the Anvils of Discord, a quest line about the Forge Masters of Blackthorn City and Pewter City, who are 2 competing rival blacksmith shops. And Blackthorn City wants you to go and find these rare materials to make sure that they can crush the competition and stay on top of the marketplace. Next up, we have a Heart of Gold / a Soul of Silver. These are 2 street gangs that are vying for power, and you, the player, will decide which gang you want to help out. But be warned, whichever gang you choose will ensure that the other will never accept you. We're already getting quest lines with permanent decisions in PokeForce. I absolutely love stuff like this in RPGs, and I'm excited to see what they do with this and expand on this. Next up, they also have Turning the Tide, an event-specific questline focused on the Festival of the Deep that occurs in Olivine City to celebrate their maritime history and connections with the legendary Guardian of the Seas like Lugia. Jack does highlight that these quest lines are just early designs, just a taste of how they're trying to build quests that also feel meaningful and connected to the world, keeping that game world feeling alive every day when you log in. Next up, the 5th thing that we have to cover is the game soundtrack. Over 50 new songs and sound effects have been created to help immersion while you play and explore PokeForce. They even posted 2 example sound bites and full songs. One of them is very bouncy and fun and exciting, meant to be like for like kind of a cool jumpy little battle, and the other being this dramatic, potentially even legendary battle, which I absolutely love. I'm gonna go ahead and shut up and let you give it a listen. Sorry to commit a full 1 minute of the video to that, but I am so impressed by that. That is easily my favorite PokeForce song so far. I can't believe that is fan made. I think it sounds fucking sick. To each their own, but I absolutely love that song so far. I can literally just imagine that in some big Ho-Oh fight or some raid or some legendary moment in the storylines. I'm so excited when that song is unveiled when I'm playing the game itself. Next up, item number 6 on our list to talk about is map creation and regions implemented. Initially, the PokeForce devs talked about wanting to add both Kanto and Johto from the launch of the game and make them playable, but they talked about how it seems to be too much of a task. They kind of bit off more than they can chew. So instead, they will just be focusing on Johto and going from there and adding more regions in the future. Mapping seems to be one of the most intense, time-consuming, and creative parts of developing PokeForce. And in my opinion, it really does show. I feel like when I was playing the PokeForce beta, it was one of my favorite parts, was falling in love with the lighting, the visuals, the terrain placements. During all the beta tests, it was one of the things that really stood out to me. It's also important to note that the PokeForce beta test also included larger maps that were much different in scale from traditional Pokemon, meaning that it took a lot longer to travel between cities, but there was also much more terrain, much more room for mechanics in between each city to be implemented. For example, in a game like PokeForce, you need more room between the cities to add in trees for your woodcutting skill. You need to add those little geodes for your mining skill. You just need more empty space between the cities to implement the specific MMO mechanics that they plan to add. Normally, you don't have to worry about that in a typical Pokemon game, but PokeForce, once again, is being adventurous and really trying to push the boundaries and create something new. The developers say that about 60% of the overworld has been recreated so far from scratch, including New Bark Village, Cherry Grove Town, Violet City, Azulia Village, and Ekrutik City. The devs have also remained very vocal and honest, saying that there is a ton of work left to do, and it's just going to take time and energy, and stuff like this is, once again, only something that I can only imagine doing. I've never developed a video game. I've only ever played them, so I just have the greatest respect for this kind of work ethic. And then the final thing to touch on, the 7th thing, is the PokeForce Discord Wiki and FAQ section, which will essentially just be a hub to answer hopefully all questions and information about the game when it releases. Which looks like this right about now, which I think is very beautiful and cool. I'm a little shocked to see them do it inside of the Discord as opposed to just on a wiki website, but I don't know if there's some sort of behind the scenes reasoning for that, but you know what, this does look very pretty and should be very helpful regardless. And this is mostly just a placeholder for things in the future. Obviously, the game is not out yet. It's not playable, so there's just a lot of, placeholder stuff right now. All right, but I think that covers absolutely everything in the most recent PokeForce dev diary. I do gotta mention one more thing that's unfortunate, but it's true. You gotta face the music. PokeForce did talk about an early test coming out in early 2026, a new sort of playable beta test. They had taken a break from doing beta tests and just locking in and focusing on grinding and working on that code. And unfortunately, that beta test is nowhere to be seen. I have not seen any news about it, any information, so I'm hoping to get something from the PokeForce devs super soon. soon. I would love to test out this game again. It's honestly a perfect time, in my opinion, to be doing that. But I still have faith. I still trust the PokeForce devs. They're a really cool group of people who, once again, are just trying to make a really cool game, and they seem to be doing a damn good job at that. It just takes time. It turns out game development is just incredibly difficult. There's some statistic where like 60% of games never even leave development or never get fully released. Like, it's just a tough gig. It's a tough thing. So hopefully this pans out, and as the players, I'll just keep an eye out for it and hopefully keep you guys updated on this game in a succinct and decent manner. And if you found like this video did that, if you found this video was helpful, make sure to leave a like on it. That helps me out. Subscribe for daily Pokemon MMO kind of content on this channel. I usually do upload every single day, although I've been taking a little bit of a break here for the first time, and I think the first time in like 5 years. I've been taking a little bit of a break over the past 2 weeks, so hopefully you guys haven't minded that too much. But subscribe, follow me on Twitch for streams, usually Monday through Thursday at 12 p.m. ET. Once again, taking a break right now. Discord down below if you're interested in that, and if you want to go above and beyond and support the channel, allow stuff like to be possible, allow me to explore more Pokemon MMO depths and mechanics and like behind the scenes stuff, YouTube memberships, Twitch primes, Twitch subs, and PayPal and Venmo donations, the two best ways to support. Let me know if you do, so I can give you your proper roses, flowers, and appreciation. But really, thanks for watching. Keep enjoying Pokemon MMOs. I think it's a really special type of game, guys, and I will see you later. For now, peace, Reno. Yo, what's up? Patrouski here. I wanted to take this second to say thank you so much for watching the entire video. It is thanks to people like you I'm able to make the content that I do, as well as everybody whose name is listed here. That's it for me. Have a fantastic day.